Imagine a set of ancient caves cut from solid granite over 2,000 years ago. Their walls so perfectly smoothed and polished they reflect light like mirrors. But the technology that made these caves has been lost to time. No one knows how the craftsmen achieved this level of precision, or why such techniques vanished after their creation. Could the Barabar Caves in India be evidence of a lost technology, an ancient knowledge now buried in history? Today, we're diving into the mystery of these enigmatic caves, exploring their construction, the secrets behind their mirror-like finish, and what these ancient creations tell us about a forgotten past. Nestled in Bihar, India, just 24 kilometers north of Gaya, the Barabar Caves are the oldest surviving rock-cut caves in the country. These caves, hewn from the hard, unforgiving granite of the Barabar and Nagarjuni hills, are believed to date back to the Maurya Empire, specifically between 322 and 185 BCE. The Barabar Caves consist of 4 primary caves on Barabar Hill: Karan Chopar, Sudama, Lomas Rishi, and Visvakarma, with 3 more located on nearby Nagarjuni Hill. Each cave was designed with a purpose, likely as retreats for ascetics of the Ajivika sect, a now defunct religious movement that was a contemporary of Buddhism and Jainism. These caves weren't just places of meditation, they were masterpieces of ancient engineering, displaying an understanding of stone cutting and finishing that seems almost impossible for their time. But how exactly did they do it? That's where the mystery begins. The most baffling feature of the Barabar Caves is their highly polished interior walls, a technique known today as Moran Polish. Unlike anything else from that same period, the inner surfaces of the caves were made so smooth that they reflect light like a mirror. What's even more astonishing is that these walls were carved into granite, one of the hardest stones known to man. Granite is notoriously difficult to work with due to its density and toughness. Even today, shaping and polishing granite requires specialized tools, such as diamond-tipped blades and grinders. But the Mauryan craftsmen managed to achieve an almost flawless finish using techniques that have been lost to history. How did they do it? Some experts believe that they might have used emery grains, an abrasive material found in regions like Armenia and Naxos, which have a hardness of about 8 on the Mohs scale. Granite itself ranges between 6 and 7. These emery grains could have been used to grind and polish the stone to such an extraordinary degree. However, this remains speculative, as no records or physical evidence of these tools have been found near the Barabar Caves. The precision of the finish is so remarkable that archaeologists have often compared it to the finest workmanship found in Athenian buildings, known for their architectural sophistication. In fact, the renowned archaeologist John Marshall once remarked that the Barabar Caves, with their perfect flatness and precision, had never been surpassed, not even by the ancient Greeks. This technique wasn't limited to the caves. Ashokan pillars, such as those scattered across India, bear the same mirror-like polish, further demonstrating the technical prowess of Mauryan craftsmen. The famous pillars of Ashoka, which have intricately carved capitals, feature similarly highly polished finishes, leading some to speculate that these techniques may have originated outside India, perhaps from the Achaemenid Empire. Among all the Barabar caves, the Lomas Rishi cave stands out. This cave, with its unique OG-shaped Chaitya arch, is considered one of the most iconic examples of early rock-cut architecture in India. The arched facade mimics the wooden architecture of the time, particularly structures made of bamboo and other plant materials, showcasing the early Indian tradition of timber architecture translated into stone. The entrance is intricately decorated, with a line of elephants carved into the rock, marching towards stupa-like symbols. Another element that would go on to later influence Indian architecture. But it's not just the exterior that's noteworthy. As you step inside, you are greeted by the same highly polished walls seen throughout the Barabar Caves. The rectangular room, measuring approximately 10 by 5 meters, leads into a circular chamber with a dome-like ceiling, creating a layout that may have been designed to enhance acoustics, another technological marvel of the time. What's specifically intriguing is that the Lomas Rishi cave appears to have been left unfinished. While the lower parts of the cave are perfectly smoothed and polished, the vault of the cave was only partially dug out, leaving rough, unfinished stone. Some historians believe this could be due to structural issues with the rock, or perhaps the cave was abandoned during the decline of the Mauryan Empire. It's an open-ended mystery. Why did they stop? And what would the cave have looked like if completed? The Barabar Caves weren't just architectural feats. They were deeply tied to the religious practices of the Ajivika sect. This little-known sect, which flourished during the time of the Maurya Empire, has all but disappeared from historical memory. The Ajivikas were contemporaries of the Buddhists and Jains, and their ascetic way of life involved renouncing worldly possessions and living in seclusion, often in caves like those found at Barabar. Sudama Cave, one of the most famous caves in the complex, contains inscriptions indicating that it was dedicated to the Ajivikas in 261 BCE. This inscription, attributed to Emperor Ashoka himself, reads, "By King Priyadarsan, in the 12th year of his reign, this cave of Banyans was offered to the Ajivikas." Sudama Cave consists of 2 rooms, a rectangular hall leading to a circular vaulted chamber. The highly polished granite surfaces create an almost otherworldly ambiance, with light reflecting off the walls and the acoustics amplifying the sounds of chanting or prayers. Interestingly, while Buddhism became the dominant religion in India under Ashoka's rule, his early support for the Ajivikas, as evidenced by these caves, show that religious diversity thrived in the Mauryan Empire. The caves were offered to Ajivika monks to serve as sanctuaries during the rainy season and were likely places for intense spiritual practices. The acoustics inside these caves, with their echo effects, would have amplified chants, creating a powerful spiritual experience for the monks. But what happened to the Ajivikas? Why did their influence fade so rapidly when Buddhism and Jainism flourished? Some historians suggest that the decline of the Maurya Empire, coupled with changing political and religious climates, contributed to the sect's disappearance. By the time of the Sunga dynasty, following the assassination of the last Mauryan ruler, Brihadratha, the Ajivikas were almost forgotten. Not all the caves in the Barabar complex were as elaborate as Lomas, Rishi, or Sudama. Take the Visvakarma Cave, for example. This cave, named after the Hindu god of architecture and craftsmanship, also boasts smooth, polished interiors, but appears unfinished. Like the Lomas Rishi cave, it consists of 2 rooms, a rectangular space leading to a semi-hemispherical chamber. But unlike Lomas Rishi, Visvakarma lacks the elaborate carvings on its entrance. Visvakarma was also dedicated to the Ajivikas, as an inscription from Ashoka testifies. However, some believe that the unfinished state of this cave, as well as Lomas Rishi, might hint at a larger political shift during this period. Could it be that these caves were abandoned due to instability in the Maurya Empire? The sudden halt in construction might indicate a change in priorities or resources. Perhaps after the assassination of Brihadratha in 185 BCE and the rise of the Sunga dynasty. Another fascinating cave is Karan Chopar. Measuring about 10.2 by 4.27 meters, this cave stands out because of its single rectangular room, which contains an inscription dated to Ashoka's 19th year of reign, around 250 BCE. This cave also has perfectly polished walls, though much simpler in design compared to the more intricate Lomas Rishi. The inscription here initially suggested that Karan Chopar might have been dedicated to Buddhists, but later readings by experts like Henry Falk revealed that it too was offered to the Ajivikas, further cementing the relationship between the Mauryas and this ascetic sect. One of the greatest mysteries surrounding the Barabar Caves is the disappearance of the techniques used to create them. After the fall of the Maurya Empire, this Moran Polish technique, along with the precision required to carve such detailed and smooth rock-cut structures, was seemingly lost. Later Indian cave complexes, such as the Ajanta and Ellora caves, while grand and artistically advanced, lack the mirror-like finish seen at Barabar. Why did this happen? Some speculate that the sheer cost and effort involved in producing such highly polished surfaces made the technique unsustainable. The Maurya Empire, particularly under Ashoka, had the resources to sponsor these projects. Later, when India's political climate became more fragmented and decentralized, large-scale state-sponsored projects became rarer. Without the same level of royal patronage, the techniques used at Barabar may have fallen out of use. Others believe that the knowledge itself was lost. The sudden decline of the Mauryan Empire and the rise of the Sungas, who were less inclined to support Buddhist and Ajivika projects, may have led to the end of this architectural tradition. The artisans who had mastered the Moran Polish might have disappeared with the fall of their patrons, taking their secrets with them. The influence of the Achaemenid Empire on Mauryan architecture cannot be ruled out either. After Alexander the Great conquered Persia, many craftsmen from the region may have traveled east, bringing their stone-working skills to India. If this is true, the fall of the Mauryas might also represent a loss of contact with these foreign influences, further contributing to the disappearance of these techniques. Though the techniques used to create the Barabar Caves were never fully replicated, their influence on Indian architecture is undeniable. The Chaitya arch seen on the Lomas Rishi cave became a defining feature of Buddhist architecture for centuries. Structures such as the Ajanta caves and the Karla caves all display the influence of this early experiment in rock-cut architecture. Today, the Barabar Caves stand out as a monument to a lost era, a time when the boundaries of engineering and art were pushed to their limits. They remind us that ancient civilizations possessed knowledge and skills that we are only beginning to rediscover. Could it be that techniques used at Barabar hold the key to understanding other lost technologies of the ancient world? Thank you for joining us on this journey into the lost technology of ancient India. If you found this exploration fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the technology behind the Barabar Caves was truly lost forever? We'll see you next time.